God of the Bible is just as alive and well today. And everything that we're seeing, he's just in charge, as much in charge of everything. You think about all the events that have to come true for any one of these things, that's the God of our life, you know. And so on the day Israel's being resurrected, they're chanting the resurrection. And it's not that they're putting it together, it's just happening. That's how amazing God is.
Wow.
But what people don't realize, all these things were set in motion. It's about 150 years ago, something happens. The Bible says, Moses said that in the end times, God will gather the Jewish people back. That will be the sign. We know Messiah can't come until that happens. But he says there'll be a sign. Before that happens, a stranger will come from far away, and he will come to the land, and he'll do something. Now amazing, this is it. What happened this is about 150 years ago. A stranger comes from far away, comes to the land of Israel. It is a desolation, as God said. It is wasted. It's hopeless. The stranger will bear witness, said Moses. It will bear witness about this is a wasted, desolate land, hopeless. And that just then, right after that, that's when God's going to act. That's when God's going to start bringing his people back. Well, it happened. The man comes, he keeps a notebook, he bears witness, he writes a book, bears witness to the world. The man we all know, but most people don't know he was part of prophecy. Mark Twain.
Yep.
Oh. Mark Twain is the stranger. He comes there, he walks to the land, and literally, as I watch this, the words he says are the same words that Moses said he would say.
Wow.
I mean, some of it is word for word. And when he reaches the last day of his full journey in Jerusalem, his last full day and night, there's an appointed word that's read in Jerusalem and around the world. They're opening up the scrolls. It's a Sabbath. They open up the scrolls, and what is the word appointed? The word all around the world, the Jewish people are chanting the prophecy of the stranger in the land.
My goodness.
So he's walking the streets of Jerusalem. They're chanting the prophecy. He doesn't know it's about him, and they don't know he's in their midst. So, and right after this happens, this is the year 1867. It's the first Jubilean year of restoration. Right after that, all these strange things start happening in the land. I won't go into it. This is in the first story of the thing, but a city that reappears after 2,000 years. All sorts of things are set in motion in that year, and then the Jewish people are going to start coming back. It happens right there. But one thing also about Mark Twain, you know, for 2,000 years, the Jewish people were praying, Lord, bring us back to Jerusalem, every day. And then their main thing was, Lord, hear our prayer, hear us, and be merciful and bring us back. So hear us, be merciful. Mark Twain's real name wasn't Mark Twain, it was Samuel Clemens. Samuel means the Lord has heard, and Clemens means and has been merciful.
Lord have mercy. Wow. Wow.
His parents, you know, one of the things the Oracle says is that how every single thing in our lives, every single moment, every single thing, God is behind everything in the world. You know, now what happens is, now if you take, and I'm really cutting quick, but if you count 50 years, the 50th year from 1867, will it take you to anything prophetic? Will it take you to a year? Well, it takes you to the year 1917. 1917, the next Jubilee year. What happens is, now the mystery, things that were planted in 1867 now are shaking the entire world. You've got the World War, and God works through everything, a whole World War. You have two empires. One empire, Ottoman Empire, Muslim, they've had the land for 400 years. Other side, they get in the war. Other side, you've got the British Empire. They just had a revival. There's a lot of love for the Jewish people. Well, God's going to work through this war. He's going to fulfill his prophecy in the Jubilean year. What happens is there's a government in power in Britain, and they don't want the Jewish people to come back. Just as the year of Jubilee is coming, the government collapses. God lifts up two men, both raised on the Bible. One is Arthur Balfour, yep, and the other is David Lloyd George, Prime Minister. And they have a love for the Jewish people. So God puts them right in place for 1917 year Jubilee. What happens is you have another Christian, another guy who was raised on the Bible, General Allenby, his whole life. God uses this, and all of a sudden the Ottoman Empire starts crumbling. The British Empire comes in, Allenby comes into Jerusalem for the first time in 2,000 years. The land is liberated from its hostile occupation, and it's in the year of restoration. Jubilee, everyone shall return to their ancestral land.
Wow.
And the British Empire issues the Balfour Declaration, which says, this land is for you. This is your land. Okay, so the land is being restored. So all in the year of Jubilee, but there's all these mysteries. I'll give you an example from this second door. That is, in that war, it's the first time in the history of Israel that wings are part of it, that air is part of it. Allenby says we need planes, we need planes. So the first time they're over Jerusalem, they're crucial in the restoration of God's purposes. And so it happens, but it turns out Jerusalem is delivered without being destroyed because of these planes. There's a scripture, prophecy, that God says, I will deliver Jerusalem as birds flying, birds flying. Now, on the day of the victory, in the English Book of Common Prayer, famous book, centuries old, there's an appointed word for every day. All the Allenby soldiers are opening up their Book of Common Prayer, and the prophecy what's for that day is, I will deliver Jerusalem as birds flying. And the squadron that was crucial in this, their motto on their planes, on their insignia, was, I spread my wings and I keep my promise. I mean, who could put this together? Who could put that together? By the way, this is going to go all the way to Donald Trump, I promise you. Okay, I mean, this is going to go right up to where we are right now. So, the thing is, one other thing, just one other mystery from that time. There's a number in Daniel that's the number of the end of the occupation. It says at that time, those who are occupying Jerusalem, occupying the land, they got to leave. The number is 1335 at the very end of Daniel. It talks about days and something for the end times, but 1335 is the day that the occupier has to leave, or the time, the number. Well, in the year 1917, all over the Middle East, the number 1335 starts appearing in Israel, starts appearing on coins. It's the year saying the occupier has to leave. And the reason is, on the Muslim calendar, the year of the Jubilee was 1335, the year telling you have to leave the land. The Ottoman Empire has to leave the land, and so they do. It's just, how it all converges by the hand of God. Now let me tell you about I know Theodore Herzl. Okay, Theodore Herzl is the father of modern Israel. He's the visionary, years before. He had faith. But what people don't know is that before he died, he had a secret that he told. When he was a little boy, or a boy, he had a dream of the Messiah. Now we know Jesus said he's not coming again until the Jewish people are there and they say, Baruch haba, blessed is he. Okay, so they have to be back. But he had a dream of the Messiah, and the Messiah said, this boy is going to prepare my people for my coming. And Theodore Herzl is the one who led them back to Israel. And now he gathered together this Congress, the Zionist. He started Zionism, moved to go back to Israel, and he writes a prophecy. Right after he has it, he says, today I founded the Jewish state. Now, this is years before. He said everybody would laugh. He says, but in 50 years, that's Jubilee, 50 years, the whole world will know it. So when did he write it? He wrote it in 1897.
Oh, come on.
Fast forward, what's the 50th year? 1947, the year that Israel is voted back into the world, to the year. Wow. But not only that, guys, but when I looked closer, I saw that the resolution where the UN voted Israel, the plan, has a date on it. The date on the plan is September 3rd, which, by the way, is the release. We didn't plan that. We didn't plan that at all.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
God did.
God did.
Okay.
God did. And so September 3rd is the day of that. So when you go back, when Herzl wrote the prophecy, he put a date on it. The date was September 3rd. So it was exactly 50 years to the day, the Jubilee to the day. That's how exact God is. How can you put this together? Yeah. God intervened. And now there is, this is really, there was a code in the Oracle. It's called the Jubilean Code that was embedded from the time of Moses. In fact, God did it through Moses. It's amazing. The law of the Jubilee, you can read it in Leviticus 25. The law of Jubilee says to Israel, you shall return. First time God says to the whole nation, you shall return to your ancestral land. It's talking about each one, but you shall return. The word in Hebrew, it's one word in Hebrew for you shall return. It's tashuvu, one word, tashuvu. Now, many people know that the Hebrew year is different from the Western year. Mm-hmm. And when they write it out, they write it with Hebrew letters because they all have number values. Tashuvu, when God said the first time you shall return, the numerical value comes out to 1948. Oh my God. The year that Israel returned into the world. The year that Israel returned. And beyond that, here's another thing. There's a prophecy in Amos where God says, On that day, it's speaking about the day I will raise up Israel. I will raise up the fallen tabernacle of David. I will end the exile of my people. On that day, I will rebuild Israel as I did in ancient times. On that day, they will plant the land. They will rebuild the cities, all that. On that day, day of resurrection of Israel. Okay. In the 20th century, the Jewish people are opening up their scrolls, and it's the appointed day to read that. So they're reading all over the world. They're chanting, God will raise up, will raise up, will raise up. The day was May 14th, 1948, the very day of Israel's resurrection.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
All around the world.
Unbelievable.
So so get this. So I mean, this is how amazing God is. I mean, people say, well, the God of the Bible, that's what, God of the Bible is just as alive and well today. Yeah. And everything that we're seeing, he's just in charge, as much in charge of everything. You think about all the events that have to come true for any one of these things, that's the God of our life, And so on the day Israel's being resurrected, they're chanting the resurrection. And it's not that they're putting it together, it's just happening. That's how amazing God is.
At TBN, our mission is to use every available means to reach as many individuals and families as possible with the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ.
Thank you for helping make the gospel of grace go around the world.
Without you, we couldn't do it. God bless you.